Welcome to Simple Life. We had to make some adjustments. I am up here where our goats have been, and we've had a problem. For the last 2 days, Merle keeps getting out. And it's not once, not twice, it's multiple times, to the point where we came up, made a bunch of repairs to the fencing, and he's dug under the fence again. So that was one issue we're having. The other issue we're having with Merle is he does not like anybody near his goats other than me and the boys. And he'll put up with Herman. But he does not like the landowners here. He doesn't want the landowners' kids here. He doesn't want anybody here other than us. So we made an adjustment to what we were doing here. We decided that we would take Merle back up and that we were gonna bring Reba down here. And she is a much more tolerant dog to strangers. And when I mean strangers, just, you know, people that don't have ill intent. Bringing her up here really helped deal with the situation. Now, I didn't want to bring her here because the reason I didn't have her here to begin with was the fact that she was being playful with some of the baby goats. So she's had almost a month of not being around the baby goats. So we're gonna see what happens. If I see any issues with any of the baby goats, it looks like their ears are slobbery, anything like that, then we will have to make adjustments. I don't think she's going to be playful with the herd here. I just saw her with them. She was very calm. She didn't act like she wanted to play. She wasn't aggressive with them before either. She was very calm, didn't act like she wanted to play. So I'm gonna have to watch over a couple-day period to see if we're having any issues. She is currently getting her sniffs in. So many times I've had to adjust my plans, adjust what I was doing because it just wasn't working out. And this is another example of that. You know, it was kind of a perfect situation up here. Other than Merle didn't really like having the landowners come around, wasn't a problem. Well, that all changed when he started to get out. When he started to get out, well, now we have a real problem because he wasn't aggressive towards the landowners when he got out, but he was very standoffish. And before I even knew this had happened, I'd already made the decision and already taken him off the property. But it turned out that he had scared the daylights out of their daughter. I think she's about 7 or so. And didn't bite her, nothing like that, but had scared her enough that she had run home. And if you know anything about dogs, running from a dog is a bit like playing a game with them. I don't know if he chased her or followed her or what the whole story was, but she was very upset. And because of that, I would have taken him off the property anyways, because I don't need a kid being scared of a dog. It is a working dog, so I don't blame him, but you know, he's actively digging under fences, which we've never had him do. So here's a good example of what he had done. He'd dug right here underneath the fence. You can see we put rebar to re-secure it. And that was an active hole. And there was another one. This is kind of what we had seen. You know, this is not that big. You know, it's about 6 inches or so. So we didn't really think much of a couple of these little gaps where maybe a coyote or raccoon or something could squeeze underneath. Our goats aren't going underneath. Well, he took one of those and dug it out. And that's a problem because now I have a dog out that doesn't want anybody near what he has now claimed his, which is this fenced-in area. It's his, so now he's trying to spook everything away from it, including people who own it. If this doesn't work out, if Reba starts doing the same type of behavior, then I'm gonna take him back home to my place. And maybe I just don't have the right dog set up to be able to do something where I go between my neighbor's property and my property, and I move them across multiple properties. It may be that doing it with dogs is just not a great option. They know their land, they know where they want to be, what they protect, and if I'm going to take my goats somewhere else, I need to have other deterrents to keep my animals safe, meaning electric fencing, that kind of thing. And that might be the case. I may just have to use electric netting only when I take my goats to other people's properties, which is fine. Hoping to try to help a lot of my neighbors get a hold of their brush issues and try to help secure the area when it comes to fires a little bit more. So help them kind of get some of the junk wood on the ground, help them get some of the blackberry taken care of. So over the next 10 years, this whole hillside has a better chance of surviving a wildfire that comes through. Nothing I'm going to do is going to be 100%, but at least it's better than nothing. So the idea of adapting is something that we have seen over and over and over again across our properties. Every time we have a plan of what we're going to do with our livestock, our animals, our pastures, our gardens, we've come across different things that got in our way. And it's just nature, literally. I learned from this. Merle is not going to be moved to anybody else's property. Merle is going to be locked on my land for the rest of his life. I cannot trust him on somebody else's property. Not that when he gets out, he'll be aggressive, but he will scare the crud out of people because he's huge. He's 120 pounds and he's big. He's big and he scares people. And so that's it. You know, whether he is actually mean or not, doesn't matter. If people are afraid of him, that's a problem when it comes to putting them on their land, because they're never going to want me to come back if I don't have a solution that makes them feel comfortable. That's one of the things that I've learned is when I use parts of people's property, their land, making them feel good is the most important thing. Because next year when you say, hey, I was thinking about maybe moving over. Oh, no, we're okay this year. Well, yeah, that's when you know, yeah, I screwed up. And so I don't want to screw up. I don't want to have those type of interactions. We've already kind of had that here, but they've had animals, so they're a little understanding. That being said, as soon as they saw Reba and they met Reba and Reba rolled over and let him scratch her belly and gave him some kisses, they were like, oh, wow, this is totally different. Matter of fact, their 8-year-old son's like, this is night and day. I'm like, yes, it is. So that's a good thing because they also saw I was willing to change what I was doing. So it's once again that adapting. And you know, I actually had a really interesting conversation with a gentleman today. And if you're watching, thanks for giving me a call. It was great talking. He was interested in buying some pork from us. And he had a really interesting and good attitude about the conversation. And the reason why is he just talked to a local farm and he'd found out that they were using vegetable oil to help fatten their pigs up, which I've never heard of. I didn't know that was a thing. No idea. That's totally new to me. He called and he's like, maybe I'm asking too much. I'm like, well, probably not. I go, you want organic pork. You want pork that's as organic as you possibly can get. I go, that's what we do. We do it as organic as we possibly get. I can't guarantee it's 100% organic, meaning that somewhere along the line something isn't introduced. But I can almost guarantee it because I know where everything comes from. Like we get some of our pig feed milled. There's a chance that there's something in there, but I've talked to the person who mills it. They've guaranteed to me that everything's organic, which means they've talked to somebody and they've guaranteed to them that everything's organic. And that's almost the best I can do is from one person to the next, just, hey, you know, who'd you get it from? Do you know the farmers? Do you know the suppliers? Yes, then that's the best I can do. And I know where I get my sorghum from because one thing, I get it in the bags that he gets it from, and it's from Adams, which is an organic farm down in California. And so I told him, I'm like, this is what we do. I grow them on pasture, we strip graze, and we use no antibiotics, we use no dewormers, we use nothing. And when I butcher out my pigs, I never find worms on the inside. And so if that's the case for me, it will be the case for you if you want to buy some of our pork. And I gave him our YouTube channel and said, hey, go watch. You'll see how we raise our animals. If you're not happy with it, it's fine. We have lots of customers who really love our pork. They love, you know, what we're doing. And, you know, if it works for you, let me know. If you want to come by and see the animals, let me know. We'll take you out and you can see the pigs. So what was interesting, and this is what I'm getting at, is his attitude was, well, maybe I'm asking too much. Do I need to change my perspective on pork, on getting organic pork, getting organic meats? And I told him, well, no, I would expect, you know, whether it's certified or not, if it's a farmer who has a reputation, then they should be able to tell you it's organic. So I don't think he's asking too much to want something that is high quality, especially for the premium price that he was paying from this local farm. I mean, really premium. I don't think it's too much to ask. I thought it was really great attitude that he had that, hey, maybe I need to adapt what I'm expecting and what I want. I don't think he did. I just think he needed to find the right place to buy from. And I'm not saying I'm the right place to buy from. I may not be the right place to buy from. Have I always been like that? No. And you know, there's things that I'm a stickler on. If you look at some of the practices I do, they're not exactly standard practices. And some of that's just me trying to experiment like I talked about in previous videos. You know, through this whole process, we learned that Merle isn't going to be a traveling dog. Reba may not be a traveling dog, but we'll see. She's young enough, maybe she'll be able to adapt to what we're doing, possibly, and be able to travel with the goats. If not, we have electric fencing. We know how to run it. We've kept goats with no Livestock Guardian dogs perfectly safe with electric fencing in the past. So if we have to, we can do that, but we don't have to. This is all optional. You know, I have land. I was just trying to help neighbors. Speaking of which, we were here the other day and the goats came in and they cleared all the blackberry out of this whole area. How about that? Look at that. They came in and they cleared all the blackberry out. I thought they would. All right, well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Adapt, overcome, enjoy life, get outside while the sun is shining, and absorb some of that amazing, beautiful heat from the sun. And we will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.